Okay, we have a new release before it launches. I'm so excited to share this new release with you guys. It's from one of my favorite brands, Sigma Beauty. And we have the Sigma Skin Perfector Hydrator Tint. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. We are doing a review and also like my first impressions and review, I should say, of the new Skin Perfector Hydrator Tint from Sigma Beauty. Now if you guys are new here, my name is Staci. I feature unfiltered makeup opinions, honest reviews. I also do tutorials like those OG ones. I also have the unfiltered series, which is go check out that series after you watch this video. If you guys haven't already, and if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing before you go, hitting the like button so it tells people on YouTube that this video is really good, and also turn on your notifications so that you know when I post to my channel again. So let's get into this video. This is the new Skin Perfector Hydrating Tint. It comes in 6 shades. The shade that I have is actually tint number 2, which according to the website is the light beige tint. I did have to go a little bit darker because I actually got a tan this summer and I had to go a little bit darker with my shade. I have noticed that it doesn't really have a warm or a cool undertone. I've noticed that it's more of a neutral undertone, and I'm wondering if the rest of the Skin Perfectors have more of a neutral undertone, and that's why they only have 6 shades that come with it. It does retail for $39. But I was able to actually get my hands on it before the launch because they actually had it available in TikTok Shop, and you could purchase it with a brush or by itself. So I actually ended up getting this set. It was the tinted hydrator with the F80 Air Kabuki brush, and I was able to get these two together. And I think Sigma still has those available on their TikTok Shop, and I don't know if they're going to have it available on their website, but if they do, check the pinned comment down below to see what kind of deals that they have and everything like that. I do know in TikTok Shop they had some bundles with the skin hydrator. I purchased this again with my own money. This was not sent to me in PR, but I do have a code with Sigma Beauty. It is Staci and it saves you 10%. So when this releases, if you use my code, it'll actually get you 10% off. So let's learn a little bit more about this Skin Perfector Hydrator Tint. And then I actually have a first impressions application that I filmed a couple of days ago that I'm going to share with you guys. I was going to do a foundation wear test, but it kind of backfired on me and I wasn't able to do one. But I am going to include in this video more about my skin, more about the weather on the days that I've been applying it. So stay tuned for that as well. This is an ultra smooth formula that provides a hydrating boost of a moisturizer and a lightweight buildable coverage of a liquid foundation. It allows you to customize your look from sheer to medium coverage. I'm a fan of medium coverage. I don't like sheer coverage that much. Formulated with nourishing ingredients like hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, plant-derived squalene, niacinamide, it's a hydrating skin tint that provides a dewy, natural finish. It says that you need to shake the bottle before use, apply on the center of the face with a foundation brush of your choice, blend outward using a circular motion. So here we have it, the tinted hydrator. So I'm going to show you guys my first application, give you guys more information about my skin with that first application, and then I want to give you guys my final thoughts on this product. All right, so a little bit about my skin while we put on my primer. If you guys are not new here, if you are new here, I do like to use the e.l.f. Power Gripping Primer as my base for any new foundation that I try, whether it be a skin tint, whether it be a full coverage foundation, because this is a very, very, very sticky, tacky base. As far as my skin goes, a little bit about me. I'm 35 years old. I live in upstate New York near the Finger Lakes. So we get all 4 seasons of weather. On the day that I'm filming this video, it's going to be 88 degrees outside. It's going to be humid. It's going to be hot. It's going to be so hot. We are in the middle of summer. The season that we are in is summer. So doing a skin tint is actually super perfect because it means that it is going to provide a really good light coverage for me. It's not going to feel weighted is what my thinking is. Now, as far as like my skin goes in general, I can tend to have like combination skin depending on the time of year. Usually when it's more humid out, I do get oily like in my T-zone and I start getting breakouts in my T-zone. So on my chin, sometimes on my nose, and then going up into my forehead. So I do tend to get some breakouts during this time of year because my skin changes a little bit. Today it's feeling a little bit oily, especially in this area and up in here and around my chin. I do have some blemishes that are showing up. I had one on the end of my nose the other day and I had one here. I do have fine lines. I also have some like beauty spots, age spots, freckles all along in here. So if it's a light coverage, it's not going to cover the freckles. It's just going to kind of blur them and not really cover them too much. So that's my expectation with this foundation today. It says that you can build it up to a like medium coverage. We'll find out. We're going to use the F80 kabuki brush that came with the set. Just as a side note, like I love Sigma Beauty brushes because they come with a 2-year warranty. So just keep that in mind. But this is the F80 kabuki brush. We are going to shake this up and we are going to just kind of dot this on the face because that's what they said to do. Dot it on the face. So we're going to see also if this shade number 2 is like this shade for me. Just going to kind of dot it a little bit. See how this works. Usually with a brush application, you actually will get some more of a like medium coverage because it's a more compact. It's not absorbing as much of the product. We're going to take this brush and slowly stipple this into my skin. Now I do have a couple of like hyperpigmentation spots. You can see like right on my cheeks, I do have a lot of hyperpigmentation and I do have a lot of like dark circles under my eyes right now. But you can see once I start blending it in, it looks really natural to my skin and it isn't like too white. It's not got a huge white cast. So I think shade number 2 really is like my perfect shade match. It's covering up my dark circles nicely. It's giving me this like very natural finish. It's not necessarily dewy though, which I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit more dewy because it's called a tinted hydrator. And you'll see it's not covering up my blemish either. It honestly just looks like it like, what's the best term? It honestly just looks like it like evened out my skin tone more than anything. It didn't really provide like a lot of coverage. It kind of feels like it blurred my skin a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit more and build it up. Okay, I personally think that this is a really beautiful skin tint upon first impression. It looks like it just kind of blurred my skin and it made it just super even. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this is that it gave me a really even like skin look. It looks healthy, it looks balanced, it looks hydrated. It got rid of some of like the hyperpigmentation so I don't look so red and splotchy in certain places. I mean, it covered it up a little bit, my blemish, but not like too terribly much. So I'm going to take the concealer that I'm using. It's the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. We're also going to conceal my blue around my eyes because like mom bags, mom life, if you know the drift, leave me a comment down below. And we're going to just use the concealer and just stipple it in with the kabuki brush. I do have a concealer brush that I will use as well to just like stipple it in further, but just to see how everything builds up on this foundation. I really like to show you guys like the entire step, the entire process so that you guys can see how the product works with other products that are going into your makeup routine. Because like what good is it to do a foundation review if you don't see and hear my comments about how it's mixing with like other products that I typically use on a daily basis? Like I use this concealer every single day or nearly every single day with my foundations that I typically use. So I know that it's predictable. I know that it works for me. This is what it's looking like with just like concealer on it. I think it paired really nicely together. I'm going to take some setting powder. We are going to dip in and just very gently set the under eyes just because it needs it really, really bad. I don't want it to crease or anything. I think it is hydrating, but it's not like, it doesn't look oily, which is nice. I do kind of wish they had put an SPF in it though. That's like my initial takeaway just from using it. I wish they had put an SPF in it because those are a lot easier to use. In my humble opinion, they're a lot nicer to use when I use a tinted hydrator if it actually has like SPF built into it. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid blush. This is from L'Oreal. I actually did it in like a testing new makeup video not too terribly long ago, but it's the Lumi Le Fage, I don't know, the Lumi Le Liquid Blush from L'Oreal. It's a very serum-y type of blush. It's very easy to blend out. It actually reminds me a lot of the blushes from Rare Beauty. I've never had issues with it like stripping the product down at all, like with other product that I've used. So I wanted to see how this foundation, this tint would look with like liquid blush. I want to know what it looks like with liquid blush. I want to know what it looks like with bronzer. Now I'm just going to go in with some bronzer, and we're using a Sigma F40. I do have a whole video about like all my Sigma favorites and all of those products that I really just like highly recommend. It's a not sponsored video by any means. Like if you go watch that video, it's not sponsored at all. Just like this one is not sponsored. But I do have to say that Sigma brushes, like I said in the beginning of this video, I love that they come with that 2-year warranty if you do end up purchasing any of their brushes. Okay, I'm going to take just a little bit of the Rare Beauty highlights, and we're going to very gently just like apply this on top of the blush for today. I think overall everything layered really nicely. It's actually adhering to my nose really nicely as well. I don't see it really settling into my fine lines at all, or my wrinkles or like anything like that. It is lightweight coverage. I do like more of a medium coverage foundation in these times of months, like when we're filming this in summer. I don't mind having something that's a little bit more lightweight in coverage because I know that like I'm just going to end up sweating it out anyway. So now I'm just taking a finishing powder and very gently dusting this on my face with the biggest powder brush in the world. So this is what the face is looking like. Very like dewy, youthful looking, very like pretty. I definitely like that I have like this natural skin look going, and it's not really clinging to anything funny. And I also like to see what it looks like after we apply any type of setting spray, because sometimes it like helps it like separate. And I've had that issue with some foundations before, but I actually am finding it's not really doing that. It's really pretty. You can see my skin. We're not really having any kind of like separation issues right now. It's a really nice, like light coverage, like foundation tint, and I'm liking it so far. So I've actually used this product quite a few times. I actually have had it for about a week now, and I have been wearing it several days throughout the week. Today, I actually tried applying it with a beauty blender instead of a brush, which is the F80 that I have been using, the Kabuki brush. And I honestly have to say, I don't like it with the beauty blender. If you're looking for more of a medium coverage, like I have a good medium coverage going on. Like this is a good medium coverage, and it's glowy and it's dewy. Use a brush. If you like that sheer coverage, then use a sponge. I didn't like using the sponge at all. I think that it just pulled too much of the product and soaked it into the sponge, and it didn't apply enough of it on my face. It definitely was like a sheer coverage. I don't like sheer coverage. I don't like seeing a lot of my blemishes show through. I don't like seeing like my beauty marks showing through. Like I want my face to be pretty even across the board, and I don't want certain things like showing through my foundation. So if you're going to be using a beauty blender, it's going to be sheer coverage. If you're using a brush, it's definitely going to be more of that medium buildable coverage. Now, as far as like actually applying the foundation, it does have this almost like dropper type of thing, but when it comes out, it doesn't actually like drop. You have to squeeze it. So it's not like you're getting 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. It's more like you squeeze it and it comes out and you kind of just use it. So that does make it hard to tell like how much foundation you're actually putting on your face. Like you have other foundations where it's like 1 pump, it covers your entire face. 2 pumps, you're getting like full coverage, like super matte, super this, super that. But with this product and with the way that the bottle is like a squeezy and you can't really moderate what comes out of it, the amount of product that you get at a time, sometimes it's too much and sometimes it's too little. So I do recommend when you're using this, you use a foundation plate. I have one that I got off of like Shein, but use a foundation plate or the back of your hand. Maybe do like a little bit of a squirt, start building it up on your face. If you feel like you need more of a medium coverage, it is buildable, so you can build it up and it does look really nice when you build it up. This does not texturize anything on my face. It does not settle into my fine lines. It doesn't settle into weird pores. It does cover my blemishes decently well. Today I'm not wearing a concealer actually because I forgot concealer, and I was like, oh, okay, well, let's just powder instead. And I started powdering and realized that I wasn't wearing concealer. So this is what my face looks like without concealer, with it just being the tinted hydrator. I actually like it without concealer. I think it looks beautiful. It looks a little bit more natural. It looks a little bit more dewy and glowy without the concealer. But if you're the type of person who likes the concealer, it matches well with that as well. I actually use the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. Typically I use it. I've layered cream products, powder products on top of this as well, and it is absolutely stunning. It doesn't move, it doesn't budge in that aspect where like it's not picking up additional product, it's not, removing itself, it's not having trouble blending these other products onto my face, which is also good. There are two things that I don't particularly like about this skin tint. I think the first one, definitely the first one has to be, is that it doesn't have any kind of SPF in it. And I'm the type of person who, if I'm wearing a skin tint, I do like to put on an SPF. Like, don't get me wrong, that's something that I've been doing a lot in the summer. It's something I've been trying to incorporate into my makeup routine just in general. But typically with skin tints that are released in the summertime, they typically have like an SPF of like 25, 30, something like that. And I do wish that Sigma had included like an SPF in this skin tint, because skin tints are typically worn in the summertime because people like the very light coverage. They like the look of their skin where it's like a little bit more natural and it really lets their natural skin shine through. So basically it's just evening out your skin tone, but it's not making you look like matte all over the place and like covering every single blemish. I tend to reach for skin tints more during the summer. During the winter, I don't tend to reach for a skin tint as much. So I definitely feel like there should have been an SPF in this product. The other thing that I wish it had was just like water resistant properties, because I have worn this out when I'm sweating. I've worn it out, like my hair is wet today, and I'm actually like kind of a little bit warm sitting under these lights today. And I wish this was more of a waterproof formula. I did notice as I was putting on my eyeshadow that I started getting a little bit like moist right in here. So I had to powder, and it didn't really lift terribly bad, but I did notice that it is not exactly water resistant, and I wish it was water resistant as well. Those are my final thoughts on the Skin Perfector Tinted Hydrator Tint. Yeah, Hydrator Tint. That's my final thoughts on the Skin Perfector Hydrating Tint from Sigma. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and staying tuned to the end. Again, if you want to save 10% at Sigma, it is an affiliated code, but it does save you 10%, and it is code Staci. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing before you go, hitting that like button and turning on your notifications so you guys know when I post again. Bye!